Who's had the most profound impact on you?
I think that, of course, my parents did. They had my most. And then I would see heroes, and there were three men who were heroes. One of them was a scoutmaster, and he was actually, he had a garbage truck, and he was a garbage collector. But he was a great man, and another one was a teacher, headmaster of a school that my kids went to, and the third was also Paul Volcker. He was a great hero of mine, and I admired him. But I admire so many people. I think one of the problems we have today is we don't have heroes. We don't have role models and heroes, because so many people are interested in tearing down people. And I think of just so many in my lifetime that I've seen.
What event has had the most profound impact on you?
Two come to mind. The loss of my son. I lost my son who was 42. That had a big impact on me.
What impact did it have?
Well, it taught me how to deal with death. It taught me how to deal with acceptance. It taught me
How to deal with grief.
Yeah, but it also helped me remind me what matters most. It taught me to savor the people that I love. It taught me to savor my grandchildren. It taught me how to keep my son with me while not having him with me, and it taught me, a number of those things. It taught me about death, and in a profound way, we all lose people that we love. Death is such much a part of our lives, and it helped me think about that and how to approach that. Anyway, it was the biggest.
We exchanged.
Yes, we did. And it's the biggest. It's, of course, the biggest thing that happened in my life. I would have rather lost my life. I would have rather have lost everything that I had. But that, of course, then you asked me what had a big impact. That had a big impact. And the other was in 1982, being terribly wrong about what happened in the economy.
That was a recession year.
Yep. Yeah. So what happened is in 1979-80, I had calculated that foreign countries were not going to be able to pay back the debts that they owed American banks, and there was going to be a big banking crisis, and there would be a lot of defaults. And on August of 1982, Mexico defaulted on its debt, and a lot of other countries defaulted on their debt. And so that happened, and I get a lot of attention and so on. And I thought the markets were going to go down. I thought the economy, and I could not have been more wrong.
And what did it teach you?
It taught me humility. It taught me the open-mindedness, the radical open-mindedness, and it taught me how to deal with risk in a better way. It taught me, you have an opinion. What makes you so sure that that opinion is right? So it taught me to try to find the smartest people I could find who disagreed with me, and to have them stress test me in my thinking. That was a big, big thought. And so that radical open-mindedness changed. And then I knew how to deal with risk and return better. So I
So
knew
because
how
of
to
that,
diversify.
Bridgewater became a better company.
It was that from that point, knowing how to deal with risk and return and knowing how to take the radical open-mindedness changed everything. I was so broke then that I had to borrow $4,000 from my dad. But that painful experience. But it also taught me that, one of my big principles is pain plus reflection equals progress. Because if I reflect, there are lessons. It's either about how the world works, like losing my son and death, and reflection, or how to deal with it better, whatever it is to deal with it better. So pain plus reflection equals progress. It taught me about that. Yeah, the culture of Bridgewater that I learned from these experiences is, I'll say it in one sentence, an idea meritocracy in which the goals are meaningful work and meaningful relationships through radical truthfulness and radical transparency. So I want the best ideas to win out. That's the idea of meritocracy, wherever they come from. I believe in meaningful work and meaningful relationships reinforcing each other, that they're the greatest reward. And if you have that together, then you're going to be more successful. If you're on a mission, that's the work you're on, and you're on a mission together and you have that tight relationship, that's a great power, but it's through that mutual generosity and caring. And that you have to do that through radical truthfulness and radical transparency. Radical truthfulness, I mean, first of all, you got to find out what's true. It's the foundation of anything. So you have to be able to talk about anything and get to truth. Truth might be what your weaknesses are as well as what your successes are. So it has that truthfulness and that idea meritocracy to figure it out and do it together. Those are very powerful things. Yes, I learned that.
What's the most important book you read?
Well, I think of, what's the most important? I think of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations. I think of Richard Dawkins' A River from Eden. I think of Will and Ariel Durant's
Philosophy.
104-page lessons of history. After 5,000 pages, 5,000 years of history, they bring it down to 104 pages. I think of Joseph Campbell's A Hero's Journey or A Hero of a Thousand Faces. Those have been the ones I would say that had the biggest effect.